You ever notice how the craziest stories don't start with a bang, but with something so absurd, so laughable, you almost wish you'd kept the letter? That's how this whole mess kicked off. Me, sitting in my kitchen in Oklahoma, mug of coffee halfway to my mouth, staring at an envelope dressed up like it was delivering a Nobel Prize, not HOA nonsense. Golden Butte Heights Homeowners Association, it read. Little gold tree logo, roots shaped like dollar signs. Yeah, you know the type. Your participation matters. I almost spit my coffee on the table, you know what I mean? Thing is, my family's owned this chunk of Oklahoma land for 3 generations. Prairie, pines, a couple battered barns, and a whole lot of quiet. Long before Golden Butte and their little platoon of clipboard warriors ever thought of laying sod. Their community ended at the edge of a cul-de-sac. My fence. That's not decoration. That's a declaration. You stay over there. I stay over here. Everybody breathes easy. First letter? Invitation to a community planning session. Trash. Second letter, a few weeks later, went certified mail. Outstanding dues notification. Immediate attention required. Claimed I owed $540 for shared perimeter maintenance. I laughed. My perimeter was maintained by me, my dogs, and a John Deere with a grudge. I scanned it, dropped it in a folder marked HOA Idiocy, and added a couple new cameras just in case their next step was trespassing. Third letter? Now it got funny. Zoning infraction. Apparently, my 8-foot barbed wire fence on my land, legal by county code, offended their aesthetic guidelines. Wanted architectural committee approval and a fence permit. They even attached a grainy aerial photo of my pasture with the fence circled in red like I was some Bond villain. That one earned a quick call to the sheriff, suspected aerial surveillance, and I wasn't playing. Fourth letter, bold font, lots of legalese. Final warning before enforcement measures. Threatened court, liens, and a mandatory in-person property assessment by a certified HOA compliance officer. I mean, they were writing their own laws at this point, fake badges away from full cosplay. I didn't respond. I backed up every HOA email, mapped my boundaries, printed off my deed and zoning waivers, and left them on the counter for good measure. You get old in this part of the world by being prepared. So Saturday rolls around. I'm upstate picking up feed, house all locked, cameras live, dogs on perimeter patrol. That's when the HOA decided to make their move. Caught it all on the footage later. Green SUV pulls up, for folks hop out. Karen Roderman in front, queen bee of Golden Butte, hair sprayed into submission and bolt cutters in hand. Her deputy, Linda, retired dental hygienist with the soul of a mall cop. Behind them, a fresh-faced couple, probably HOA volunteers too new to realize they were about to star in a viral video. Karen, full of purpose, snips the lock on my east gate like she's breaching the wire at Normandy. Tucks the broken padlock in her handbag, classy touch. Opens the gate, and in they go. Linda with a tablet for pretend citations, the others trailing, eyes wide. What they didn't know? My system had flipped to active. Dogs on alert. My 3 Belgian Malinois, trained for farm defense, not violence, fanned out slow. No barking, just this low growl and a circle. A warning you'd have to be deaf or dumb to miss. HOA crew kept right on with their inspection. Photos, fake soil samples, the whole circus. Then the twist. One of the newbies steps in a pile of horse manure, screams like he's been shot. Next, Karen and Linda make for the lower field, right where the runoff pit sits, clearly marked with "Do Not Enter." You guessed it. They dive in. Literally. The old concrete overflow basin, storm catch, gray water, not meant for people. And now, on camera, they're waist deep in semi-liquid compost, in a box with no cell service, no water, Oklahoma sun beating down, dogs watching from the fence line like they're judging a pie-eating contest. The 2 younger volunteers bail, slipping through the mud, heading for the gate with their dignity trailing behind them. My cameras catch everything. Every shriek, every stumble, every time Karen loses another shoe. By the time I get home the next day, the ranch is calm again. But the logs show movement. And there, thumbnail, Karen's grimace, climbing over my gate, bolt cutters dangling. I mutter, "You've got to be kidding me," and pull up the whole movie, trespass, drama, and HOA-branded polo shirts. And then, Karen and Linda, stuck in the pit, pleading for help. The smell hits me first. Let's just say if you've never inhaled a blend of ammonia, compost, and legal failure. You're lucky. They're barely conscious. I drop a rope ladder, give them water, and call it in. First the sheriff, then county EMS. Deputy Mullins shows up, takes one look at the footage, and shakes his head. You serious? As a heart attack in a sauna full of lawsuits, I say. Karen, delirious, tries to pull the old, "We're here for an inspection" line. Mullins cuts her off. This isn't a cul-de-sac, ma'am. Hazmat suits, stretchers, the works. Karen hisses, "This isn't over, Mr. Harper." I just nod. You're right. It's just getting started. Next morning, I wake to code enforcement snapping photos, poking around. Apparently, Karen filed a county complaint. Unsafe containment, dangerous animals, environmental code violations. They find nothing. I hand them the trespass footage on a flash drive. The lead inspector's face says it all. By Thursday, there's a lawsuit from Karen and crew. Hazardous environment, aggressive animals, psychological trauma. I about fall off the porch laughing. They want damages. For trespassing. On my ranch. I call my lawyer, Daniel. He's a bulldog in cowboy boots. Reads the suit. Snorts. Let's bury them. We counter. Criminal trespass, vandalism, fraud. Court comes quick. Judge looks at Karen's lawyer. Is the property in the HOA? No, Your Honor. But then you have no standing. Sit down. Lawsuit dismissed. Countersuit advances. Judge forwards the matter for criminal investigation. Karen turns pale. Her lawyer's face drops. They brought a butter knife to a gunfight. You'd think that'd be it, right? But Karen isn't wired like most folks. She's a grievance in human form, and she escalates. Flyers in the mailbox, Facebook posts, wild claims, dangerous rancher next door, unpermitted tanks, semi-feral military dogs. I collect them for laughs. Then she whips up the HOA, calls for drone surveillance, child services. So I get proactive. Drone mapped my property lines, upgraded the cameras, filed an injunction. No HOA member can step foot on my place again. And then, the twist. Discovery yields a fake, provisional expansion document. A forged signature, dead councilman's name, no county stamp. Karen had been fleecing her own neighbors, inventing threats to up dues, and funneling tens of thousands to her husband's contracting business. We turn it over to the DA. A search warrant, a raid on Karen's garage, the HOA office. And soon enough, Karen is in cuffs on local news. HOA president under fire for fake expansion and fecal scandal. It's a landslide. Board members resign. Bank accounts are frozen. Karen's husband loses his contractor license. But the hits keep coming. Audits reveal $290,000 misused over 3 years, security upgrades that never materialized. Her niece paid for watercolors of people's houses, a fake podcast, even a forged petition to annex my land. She forged my signature, tried to rezone the property under the radar. Another arrest, this one for felony forgery. By now, even the board wants out. A petition to dissolve the HOA hits 80% in 2 days. Karen's house goes up for sale. Former neighbors come by, apologetic, some in tears. She made it seem like you were the threat. I just nod, pour coffee, try not to laugh. My dogs. Local celebrities. The sheriff's office helps get them farm guardian certified, little tags and everything. But Karen has one more Hail Mary left. Environmental inspector shows up, anonymous tip about biohazard waste. The complaint is Karen's own words, recycled from her flyers. I let the inspector in, lawyer on speaker, cameras rolling. He leaves with nothing. Daniel adds malicious reporting to the growing legal stack. Final HOA meeting, the last supper in the cul-de-sac, motion to dissolve passes in 15 minutes. Karen's name stripped from everything. Her husband divorces her, house sold, she skips town. I get a thank you letter with a cartoon of the pit, Karen's last stand. I hang it in the mudroom. Peace returns, but the pit gets a makeover, a sign. Welcome HOA, VIP pool access. It becomes a landmark. Neighbors bring lawn chairs, snap selfies, say things like, "You gave us all permission to say no." The DA's office cracks down on other rogue HOAs. Karen's trial makes headlines. She pleads out, probation, community service, nearly $100,000 in fines. Her husband's banned from accounting for life. Golden Butte Heights HOA dissolved. Neighborhood board now just plans garage sales. As it should be. I started writing a book. How to survive next to an HOA. Dogs sleep sound, fences hold, cameras watch. One reporter asked if I regret anything. I told him, just not putting floodlights on the pit. Would have gone viral faster. He laughed, so did I. This lands in my bones now. I got it back the hard way, but I got it back. Not just with lawyers, but by letting Karen and her clipboard army hoist themselves up and fall right into the mess they created. That's how you win with people like that. Quiet, steady, waiting for the rope to run out. And if you're lucky, you get to name a pit after them. So, what do you think? Was I right to fight? Ever had an HOA horror story of your own? Drop a comment. Let me know where you stand on justice, boundaries, and what you do when someone tries to claim what's yours. This one's for anybody who's ever drawn a line and dared the world to cross it.